I hope you guys are having a wonderful morning, wonderful Wednesday so far. But yes, as so obvious, I'm sure it is. Our talk this morning is going to be about accountability. And sometimes people think that's like such an ugly, ugly, mean word, or a word that, like, again, the energy and how we feel when we think about certain words. And if when I say the word accountability doesn't feel good, it feels like, my job, responsibility. That is a indicator that you just need to go back in and unlearn, that thought or that feeling around that word accountability, and relearn a new feeling about accountability. Because accountability is actually a great word. It's a great thing. It's a powerful thing. It's a self-empowering thing. Lots of times when we think about accountability, most people will say accountability is like, oh, when someone else holds you accountable, or when your job holds you accountable, when you have to go do something, or else something, you lose something, or something like that. But it's an exterior thing or exterior person that's holding us accountable. But accountability, yeah, I sure can. Accountability actually starts from within, and then you allow it to come from exterior, from outside. But accountability actually starts from within. That's where accountability becomes most self-empowering and exciting, and a positive word for yourself, because it's coming from within. The very first person that holds you accountable is yourself. Like, you must practice the art of holding yourself accountable. And I say art because art is a positive, wonderful thing. It's not an ugly thing that's like, oh God, I got it. Art is wonderful. We all love to look at art, right? We all love the word art. Art, again, it gives us a positive emotion when we say the word art. So you must see self accountability as an art of just giving yourself self-empowerment, control. There was something in that other video, that in that motivational video, that the other guy said. He said, if you're gonna fail, fail because you failed. Don't fail because, oh, I failed because the environment, I failed because, that person wasn't supporting me the way they should have. I failed because, I was part of a team and they didn't do their job. I failed because my boss sucks. You know, you just let all power and control leave. You just gave all power and control away from you. You just gave it to everything else around you that you have absolutely no control over, as opposed to saying, I failed because, what, I could have done a little bit better in this area. I failed because, what, I could have showed up early rather than showing up on time. I failed because, I probably didn't give it 110%. I probably gave it 99%. I failed because I did something and I can change it. That then completely shifts the control and power over the situation. You then gave yourself all the accountability, all the control, all the power, self-empowerment, as opposed to giving away that power to every other reason and person why you failed. Right? You see, just that shift of how we see accountability in our lives can change everything, can change how we feel that we can control a situation. And if we're going to try again, and if we try again, who's in control? Right? If we try again, who's in control? It's not the environment, it's not the boss, it's not the people, it's not the lack of support, it's not any of that. It's you. You're in control. You got the power. And that shift in mindset can change everything, right? There was another YouTube video I wanted to play. It was a cute little cartoon video, but it talked about accountability equals trust. And in the video, it talked about, accountability and other people. Again, other people holding you accountable, and you holding other people accountable in your life. And when they fail, it could affect the situation, or it could affect you. But I want you to think about it more as self accountability and building trust. When, you hold your husband accountable to something and, he constantly doesn't follow through. After a while, you're not going to trust him in that area. You're going to be like, he's never going to get it done. You're going to have zero belief that he's going to get it done because he's shown over time that he's not accountable. He hasn't gotten it done. He hasn't followed through, right? Same with a friend. The friend constantly flakes on you, doesn't show up. Oh, I'm tired tonight. Oh, we had plans, but I'm tired. Oh, lack of accountability, lack of trust. Oh, they're going to constantly flake. That deteriorates the trust just in those areas. Doesn't have to be overall, just in those little areas, right? Now think about that with you, with your own self. If you're trying to hold yourself accountable to this thing, I'm going to start working out every day. That's it. I'm going to start waking up every morning and working out. Then, one day you do it. The next 3 days you don't. Lack of accountability. What does that build? Lack of trust for yourself. Same exact way. When other people aren't held accountable, we start to not trust that they're going to follow through. When you constantly don't hold yourself accountable and you don't follow through with the things you're trying to hold yourself accountable for, you deteriorate your self-trust. When we don't trust ourselves, we lose confidence. We lose identity. We lose our belief in ourselves. It goes so much deeper. It's like layers upon layers. And sometimes we lose track and we can't see those layers and we don't even understand that that's what's happening. But psychologically, scientifically, because I love basing everything on science, because if I see it, I believe it. And science gives me that. And science proves it. Lack of trust in yourself, lack of accountability, lack of follow through on the things you say you want, you're going to get, you're going to do, you're going to say, you're going to think. Lack of all of that then leads to lack of belief in yourself. And when then we don't believe in ourselves, we start to lose potential, right? You start to your level of self potential, what you believe you're capable of, starts to sink, right? It starts to sink, starts to go down. You start to limit yourself. You start to be like, no, I can't do that. I'm not good at sales. I'm not good with people. I'm not good at building relationships, really. I'm an introvert. I'm not good at that sport. I'm not a great swimmer. It could be anything, right? You start to lose belief in yourself. Whereas when you constantly hold yourself accountable, you constantly have, the discipline, or you consistently are working towards discipline, to holding yourself accountable, following through on these little goals that you're setting for yourself in different areas of your life, you start to build your confidence. You start to be like, yeah, I'm good. I could do this. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I could do it. Then you start to believe in yourself more. Wow, if I could do this, I could do that. If I could, keep myself accountable to eating right and being healthy and stuff like that, I could probably go climb this new mountain. Even though it's going to be a challenge, I've never done it before, I think I can. Or you know what? I'm holding myself accountable to my job. I'm always doing the most. I'm always showing up early, leaving late. I'm always giving it my 110. I think I could start a business of my own. Absolutely. I'm one of the best at work. I could start a business of my own, and I know it could be successful. You start to build such a level of confidence in yourself that your belief system increases. So with your belief system increasing, opportunities around you are increasing. Your level of potential is rising. You believe you can do more things. It's such a psychology behind all this stuff, all by giving yourself the power of accountability, right? And just working small goals. So how do we hold ourselves accountable? Sometimes it could be so big, like, I got to do everything right. No, absolutely not. I like to start small. I like to start really small, like baby steps. because sometimes when you're thinking so big, your vision is so big in different areas of your life, you could feel a little overwhelmed. And then when you're not seeing results on a daily basis, you kind of want to give up. You're not seeing results regularly. So you're like, this is going to take forever. I can't do it. You start to not hold yourself accountable. Your belief system starts to go down. Your level of confidence, self-trust, everything starts to go down. But if you give yourself smaller goals each day, like, hey, for the next 2 days, if I wake up at 8:30, I'm going to wake up at 7. Not, hey, if I wake up normally at 8:30, I'm going to wake up at 5:30 every morning from now on. Like, those are huge goals that probably aren't going to happen for most people right away. So you need to shave it down slowly. And then when you wake up that next morning at 7, you're going to feel so good. You're going to be like, yay, I did it. I followed through. I building confidence. I can do it. Then when you wake up the next morning at 7, I'm doing it again. Then when you do it for the next 2 weeks, because it was only an hour and a half that you shaved off, not 3.5 hours, right? You just shaved off a little bit. Now you see you've accomplished this goal for 2 weeks straight. You've been waking up at 7. Your confidence within yourself just jumped up super high. Your belief system in yourself that you could follow through just jumped up. So now you could shave back again. You know what? I have confidence in myself. I think I can do it. I'm not as scared now as that I'm not going to do it. Because, when you shaved off that, 7 o'clock, you were a little scared. When you were like, oh, I'm going to start waking up at 5, you're a little scared. In the back of your mind, you got that doubt rattling around. That's like, no, it's probably not. That's why you can't, I'm going to try, right? When we say like, I'm going to try to wake up. No, I'm going to wake up at blah, 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 right? But now we shaved off that just an hour and a half. You did it 2 weeks. Now that doubt back there is shrinking. Now you're like, okay, I think I'm going to wake up at 6. I'm going to wake up at 6 every morning. I can do it. You start doing that for the next week. Boom, your confidence start rising some more. Your self-belief system starts to increase. You start to be like, yes, I can do it. I'm doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. Now I can make more goals. And then you start, again, baby steps. That's just, waking up in the morning, small things we do for ourselves. You can create this level of accountability in all areas of life. There are so many areas that make up our one life. You got your health, your body, what you're doing to your body, how you're waking up, when you're waking up, what are you eating? How are you exercising? How are you moving? How are you stretching? How are you thinking? How are you talking? What are you drinking? What are you eating? Like, all of these things is our body, our health, right? How we take care of our physical selves. How is your sleep? Then you have other things. How are my relationships? How's my relationship with my partner? How's my marriage? Is there growth in that area? Can we take baby steps that we can get better on and grow on? Where do I want to see my marriage? Am I happy with where it's at? Can we go deeper? Can we get stronger? Can we laugh more? What are your goals in your marriage? Are you setting goals that you're meeting every day? Right? Little small goals. You know what? I'm going to give my husband 2 compliments today for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to find 2 small compliments I can give him on a regular basis for the next 2 weeks. You don't have to say like, I'm going to completely change. I'm going to be the best wife. Oh my gosh, I'm going to love on him. Like, that's probably extreme if you're not normally that way, right? So you take smaller ones. All right, you know what? I'm going to do 1 compliment for the next 2 weeks, small goals. And then as you reach that, you're like, wow, maybe I can be a little bit more complimentive or affectionate or whatever it is, whatever area you want to grow in relationships. What is your relationship with your parents or your children? Do you want to get better in those areas? Do you want to use better words when you're talking with your kids? Small baby steps. Don't just think about the big ideal, because that gets us overwhelmed. That seems like, okay, there's the big ideal, but what's the in between? And that in between is just smaller little goals that you know will reach you to those other bigger ideals and other bigger goals. And as you are completing and accomplishing those smaller in between daily goals, you are building that confidence, that self respect, that self trust. By the way, self trust equals self respect. Like it equals self respect. You start to truly respect yourself when you know you can trust yourself. It's very funny how these words are so intertwined and one leads to another. You know, when other people are held accountable and they're constantly following through on what they say and what they do, you respect them. You're like, wow, not only do I know that they're going to follow through, I really respect that. Right? And it's the same way with yourself. Like you're like, you see yourself following through on the hard things on a daily basis. And you're like, man, I trust that I'm doing it. And I really respect myself now. Like, wow, I'm tough. I'm strong. I got discipline. I'm being consistent. This is hard and I'm doing it. I respect myself. It's amazing. And again, as you respect yourself and you respect people, you start increasing your belief system. It all intertwines. So, who's holding you accountable in different areas of your life right now? We just gave ourselves all the power and the control, and you never want to relinquish that ever, ever, ever. It never should be vice versa. It never should be like someone else holds me accountable before I hold myself accountable. That should never be a situation in life, ever. There's no situation, right? So outside of first yourself, because it'll never be anyone else first, then who else is holding you accountable? Or what else is holding you accountable? Right? Let me make sure I didn't miss anything on self power, control. Yep, got all that. So outside of yourself, who else are you allowing to hold yourself, to hold you accountable? What else are you allowing to hold you accountable? And this is also a very deep question. Very, very deep. Because let's look at the surface, right? When we say, what else is holding me accountable? Who else is holding me accountable? My job, my bills, life. Got to do it. Got to pay bills. Got to keep going. You know, the status quo, class. I don't want to be living in poverty. You know, I want to be at least middle class, right? Parents. Oh, my parents. I don't want to be, you know, failure and prove them right, you know, that I failed, or I got to prove them right that they said I could do it. So I got to do it, right? My kids, I got to do it for my kids, you know, I got to make this life happen for them. I got to try to give them a comfortable life, right? Again, you're just relinquishing all that power to everyone else. You're doing it for them. And maybe sometimes only them, because you've lost sight of doing it for yourself, right? But especially, I mean, it's honorable. You know, those last things, I believe it's honorable to do it for our parents, our family members, our brothers and sisters, to watch us succeed, to live our best lives, to be our best selves, to have integrity and character and self-belief and confidence and worthiness, right? Self-respect. Absolutely. We should be doing it for our kids. Absolutely. But lastly, we should be doing it for our bills, for our job, for the sake of not losing it, right? If those are the things, when I say accountability, those are the first things you probably think about, you've got to rewrite it for yourself. You've got to rewrite it, because that's going to make you live a life that is completely unfulfilling, because you're only doing it for these surface things. You've got to go much, much, much deeper than that, deeper than doing it for your kids, deeper than doing it for your parents, deeper than doing it for your spouse, your wife. A lot of times men get to a point in their life where they're only doing it for their wife and their kids and their family. They're like, that's what I'm here for. That's what my job is. You know, I'm a provider. That's it. That's what's holding me accountable. I got to be a provider. But then you lose sight of yourself. What else besides, yes, absolutely being a great husband and a great father and a provider, but what else, right? Do you want to see a level of yourself you've never seen before? Do you want to go to your grave saying, yep, I was a good provider? Or do you want to go to your grave saying, man, I lived my best self? I lived this life like for me. I feel happy. I feel good. I did a lot of the things I wanted, not just what was good for my family, what was good for my kids, what was good as a provider, right? Because sometimes people can be the best provider and still go to the grave with regrets that they never got to do more, right? So, and when I say more, those were the things that you yourself hold yourself accountable for, right? If you are nearing life and you're getting old and you're like, man, I feel like there should have been more. That was that. That was you holding yourself accountable to something that you could have done more in. That's for yourself. So when we start to change the thought of accountability, what it actually means, and stop all the external and keep it internal now and forever. There will always be external, of course, but when we keep it internal now and forever, we can live a life that at the end of our life, we can be like, wow, I really lived not just for everybody, but for myself, right? Like I live for myself. Don't forget about yourself. Because yes, we all live for everyone. I live for my daughter. I live to be a great wife. I live to be a great friend and a good daughter, and all of that. But I also want to live for Zara. I want to be my own hero. I want to see Zara at a level that I could never even imagine right now. Who, am I going to change from now until 60? Am I going to become stronger, better, more character, more integrity? Am I going to reach more people in my life? Am I going to impact more people? Is my level of accountability going to be so high? Am I going to have extreme self-confidence and self-belief in myself? Am I going to accomplish things I never thought would be possible in my 40s? Have I done those now in my 80s? Like that's what that self-accountability does for you. It opens a whole world of opportunity. Remember, go back to that science effect. Accountability equals self-trust, self-respect, confidence, which all of those things increase your self-identity. And when your identity is higher, you then energy, you start to vibe on a such higher level. Opportunity starts to come your way. The universe starts to shift your way in bigger opportunities, bigger changes, bigger evolving, all by you holding yourself accountable to the small little daily things in different areas of your life. And I really like to talk about the personal areas more than I talk about the career areas. A lot of times we're so focused on holding ourselves accountable in the career areas and our finances and things like that. But again, you're starting with the external and you're trying to bring it internal. Cannot do that. You have to start with yourself. The person you are isn't capable of all these bigger, more amazing things. You become stronger, better, greater, and then all these things come, and then you can conquer them because you are stronger, bigger, greater. Everything starts from within. So give yourself that self-power, give yourself that self-accountability. It's a beautiful thing. Go back and fall in love with that word. Don't push it away. Fall in love with it. It's a very empowering, wonderful word to chisel you into the person that God really created you to be. So I'll leave you with that.